Hey there, scientists. Welcome to Room 9, our region's largest classroom. My name is Mrs. Newby, and I teach at Flynn Park Elementary School, which is in the school district of University City. Today, I'm going to be teaching science for first grade, but all learners of all ages are always welcome to join with us, and I'm super excited you're here today. So let's get started. Today, we're actually going to learn all about seeds and plants. There's so much to learn about them. I wish I could fit all of it in one video, but I can't. But I'm gonna try to teach you as much as I can today, and I hope you're ready. I hope you have those science glasses or goggles on. I hope you have your notebook and your paper so that you can jot down as many notes as you can, and you can share them with family and friends about all you've learned about plants. So I actually have something I wanna show you. Can you say, oh yeah, oh yeah? And I really want you guys to think about two questions. Okay, so if you ever see big eyeballs like this, that is to pay attention to something that you notice. So think about, what do I notice about what Mrs. Newby is showing me? And I also want you to think about, what do you wonder? So that's what that big question mark is. What do I wonder about what Mrs. Newby is showing me? So think about these two questions. If you can jot notes down or draw pictures or something after I show you this, please do that, because we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about what you noticed and what you wondered. Are you ready to see what I'm about to show you? Say, yes, Miss Newby. Say, tell us, show us. Okay, I'm gonna show you. Okay, so here it is. Ooh, are you hungry yet? Are you hungry? I sure am. I cannot wait to eat all of this after this lesson. So, first thing, what do you notice? What do you notice? It's food, right? Duh. Yeah, it's food. What else? Well, I'm noticing that some of them are fruits, like the banana. I got a plum and a peach, a strawberry, an apple. But I also have some vegetables, or what we call vegetables, which are these peppers and then this tiny cherry tomato right here. What else do you notice about these foods? Well, right away, I noticed that I'm seeing a lot of seeds. I see that this yellow bell pepper has a bunch of seeds, just kind of like in the middle and throughout. I'm noticing this cherry tomato has tiny seeds also. They kind of look different, but there are a bunch of different seeds in this food. I see some seeds in this apple core. This giant seed in this peach, look how big that thing is. Oh my goodness. We have kind of a smaller one in the middle of this plum. And this strawberry actually has all of these as seeds. So everything you see here, these little brown spots on strawberries, are actually seeds. And if you open a banana upside down, you'll actually see the seed right there. Isn't that cool? I learned that monkeys actually open their bananas like this, so now I open them like this. So I just pick the seed off and then I enjoy my banana because it's super easy to open that way. So interesting. So there's fruits and vegetables. They're all different. They all have seeds, and all of the seeds look different. Well, after we discovered that, what is something that you actually wonder about these foods? What is something that you wonder? Let's think about it. So if we talk about these three things that we noticed, some are fruits, some are veggies, all of them have seeds, and all the seeds look different. I started to think about things that I wondered. So I asked myself, and I hope you ask yourself too these questions. I asked myself, how can seeds actually turn into fruit? You plant a seed and then it turns into fruit. Isn't that crazy? And then that fruit has more seeds inside of it. And then I asked myself, well, what do plants need to grow? Well, we're going to explore these two questions, and as we explore these two questions, we're going to learn so much more information. Are you ready? Say, oh yeah, oh yeah. Awesome. Okay, so I actually want to show you a different type of seed because I did some experiments. Remember, I'm a scientist and so are you, so you can always do experiments. So I did an experiment with bean seeds. So beans are actually seeds that you can put in soil and it'll actually grow a plant. So I wanted to see what is inside of a seed, because with beans, if you soak them for a really long time, you're actually able to it gets soft enough for you to break it in half, and you can actually see the inside of a seed. And there's 3 different parts that seeds have. And I actually was able to label and show you what they were. So take a look at this awesome experiment that I did. Feast your eyes, dum-da-dum. Okay, so I actually explored with 2 different seeds. I explored with the kidney bean and the black bean. And I noticed that there were 3 different parts to it. So these are what they look like in real life before you break them apart. And I noticed that this one has some red around it. It's all red, and this one's black. So when I soaked it, I actually noticed that I'm actually able to take apart the skin. We actually call it a coating, a seed coating, or a protective coating. So it actually protects the inside of the seed. And the black bean also has that coating as well around it to protect it. Another interesting thing I noticed is that these beans actually have some a tail looking thing. Like if you notice right here, you see like a tail, and right here you see, it's kind of cool. Do you see that like thing sticking off right there? So I learned that is actually the first leaf that will pop out once you plant it. So it's actually the leaves and the roots that will actually start the plant's growth. So cool. And then what I started to wonder was, well, what is the rest of the bean for? What's the point of that? And then I realized, well, the seeds actually need to have enough energy in order for it to sprout up and for it to grow as a plant. So we actually call that food storage. So it stores up food and enough energy for the seeds to continue growing out of the soil and to get bigger and bigger. So it's actually energy for the plant. Kind of cool, right? So I didn't stop there though. I thought to myself, oh my goodness, seeds have different plants, or seeds have different parts, silly me. I want to actually plant one and see what it's going to look like if I plant a black bean and a kidney bean. So about 3 weeks ago, I think, I did that, and I planted a few kidney beans and a few black beans, and this is what came up. Isn't this so cool? Now again, these are just baby plants. They're not quite adult plants yet, but you notice that this one here actually has the coating around it still. So it's still kind of like sprouting or opening up. So this will actually soon fall off in a few days, kind of like this one did. This one was in the soil because it fell off of another one. And then the leaf is gonna open up like these. It's pretty cool. And this one here is the black bean. And you notice 2 of them actually sprouted, and you still see the coating right here. And the leaves are going to grow from that tiny tail that was inside of that bean. And I knew in order to plant and take care of these, the way that I took care of them was I put them near a window to make sure that I get enough sunlight. And I also watered them every day. I made sure that the soil had enough water for it to grow. And I knew that was important. But I know if I look at them, I was thinking, well, where are the beans? Like how can I pick the beans off and start cooking? Well, then I remembered, oh, silly me, these are baby plants still. Babies can't have beans on them or different seeds yet. They have to grow into adult plants in order for more beans to come. So I have to be patient. I have to wait a little bit longer for these little guys to grow bigger, and I might need to put them in new pots so that they can grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And I can't wait to see what happens after that. So we just learned all the different parts of a seed, which is super cool. Now I want to know, well, what happens after a seed becomes a baby plant and then an adult plant, and then what happens when it's a grown-up? How do fruits or different seeds come in that? So I actually found a really awesome book about a life cycle of an acorn. So I want to read that, and there's so much information in this book. So let's jump into that book. I hope you want to join in with me because I'm about to hop in this book, and we're going to read all about acorns, and we're going to take notes on how acorns and also just most plants grow and how they produce more seeds and more plants. Are you ready? Let's go. Hey there, thanks for joining me in this book. I love jumping into books and reading more information. So, we're going to read a book called Acorn to Oak Tree by Rachel Tonkin, and it's illustrated by Stephanie Pfizer Coleman. And this book is through Crabtree Publishing Company, and it's going to teach us a lot about the life cycle of plants, specifically focusing on oak trees. So let's get started. This is a nonfiction book, so that's why you see all of these cool chapters that we're going to read and explore about. Now, the first chapter is called Seed. An oak tree is tall and strong. It can live for hundreds of years. It grows from a small seed called an acorn. Acorns grow on adult oak trees every year. So, just like my bean plants, I did not see any beans on the plants just yet because they're still baby plants. So, you're going to notice and you're going to learn that you cannot see any seeds or fruits or anything come from baby plants because they only grow on adult plants. So you have to wait until they're all grown up in order to see those acorns or an apple or an orange. So any type of food that you see on plants has to be on adult plants. So next is fall. So in the fall, the acorns drop from the tree and squirrels collect acorns from the ground. They bury them to eat during the winter. But the squirrels sometimes forget where they've buried an acorn. So this acorn stays under the ground. So we actually have squirrels to thank for a lot of oak trees that we have. So say thank you, squirrels. Let's watch a real live squirrel bury an acorn. Watch this. It's pretty cool. So this acorn finds, or this squirrel finds an acorn. Looks like he kind of like cleans it up a little bit, saying, yum, 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 you're so yummy, but I'm going to save you for later. So here you see him kind of digging a hole, and then he's going to bury it, kind of put the dirt over it, pat it down, and then just run away. So he might forget where that acorn is, and that acorn could possibly become an oak tree eventually. It's kind of neat. So next is a root. So under the ground, the new tree begins to grow. A root grows out of the acorn and down into the soil. The acorn has material inside it that gives the root energy it needs and it needs energy to grow. So you notice you don't quite see the roots because they're always going to be in the ground. And it's really important that they kind of go down and they kind of spread out like this because whenever water kind of falls in the soil, whether you are watering a plant or if it rains, the really important job that roots have is to collect that water. So it needs to collect that water to give it energy. And the cool thing also that I read here is that the acorn has material inside it that gives the root energy. So just like my beans, we saw that food storage, all seeds have that food storage section of them to help it get energy to shoot out of the dirt. So it's kind of cool how we learn that even acorns have that food storage. So next is shoot. Next, a shoot grows from the acorn. It grows up through the soil. The first leaves begin to grow from the shoot. So just like we talked about that little tail-like thing on our beans, they probably have that in the acorn. So that's where the first leaves kind of grow out. And you see that once the root collects that water, the stem actually acts like a straw to collect that water and bring it up to the plant. So the stem is also very important because it kind of works with the roots to help the plant grow. Seedling. So after it grows its shoot, the young tree is called a seedling. The seedling keeps growing. Its leaves take in energy from the sun. The seedling also needs water to grow. So just like I said, the importance of the roots is to collect that water, and then the stem acts like a straw and kind of slurps it up to the very tippity top. And now we just learned that leaves actually they're kind of like sunbathing like this, like enjoying the sunlight, and they're collecting all of that energy and all of that food from the sun. So those three parts of plants are super important. It's not just oak trees that have those parts. All plants have those three parts and they need to do that important thing. Watch here how a seedling grows. So you'll see here it happening pretty fast, but it doesn't happen this fast. Watch. So there's the acorn, it falls in the ground, it gets buried. Oh, there's the shoot. And then you see it form into a seedling. Look at those leaves collecting that sunlight. The roots, I bet, are collecting that water and it's just going to continue to grow. And it takes a little bit for it to grow, but that's how it grows. It takes a really long time. It does not happen that fast. I wish it did. Let's keep reading. So next is a young tree. So it takes about 20 years for the seedling to grow into a young oak tree. Oh my goodness. Imagine waiting 20 years for you to become a young kid. Wouldn't that be crazy? It has to wait 20 years in order for it to be a young plant, a young oak tree. The young tree has many branches, and every spring the branches grow new leaves and flowers. Hmm. I wonder why the flowers grow on an oak tree. Don't acorns grow on oak trees? That's weird. Let's keep reading to find out. Catkins. The oak tree grows male flowers and female flowers. That's interesting. So there's girl and boy flowers on one tree. The male flowers are called catkins. So that's what these long things are right here. These are called catkins. So those are the boy flowers. They look long and fluffy. The catkins have pollen. Ooh, I know pollen can be super important, and it is a bold word, so that tells me especially that this book thinks that this word here is an important word. Let's find out what that pollen does. New acorns. The wind blows the pollen. Some pollen reaches the female flowers. The pollen lets the female flowers become acorns. Oh, so we need those flowers. Those flowers are so important for the acorns to grow. The male flowers need to join with the female flowers to make those acorns. So the flowers are really important for plants. That's so important to keep in mind. Oak trees make the most acorns after they are about 50 years old. So they have to be about 50 years old to make lots and lots of acorns. But remember, we need those flowers. We need those male flowers and those female flowers so the pollen can kind of reach the female flowers and make those acorns. Super cool. New trees. Every fall, the leaves and acorns drop from the tree. In the spring, new leaves and flowers grow. Then new acorns grow. The life cycle starts again. That's super cool. Let's watch this oak tree change colors. Now I want you to notice how many colors you see in this oak tree. Ooh, that is so pretty. My favorite part about fall is all the different colors. I see yellow, I see orange, I see dark green, I see light green. Wow, that's super pretty. So once these leaves kind of fall off, new leaves are going to come in the spring and they're going to be green. And those leaves are going to have those male and female flowers. And it's going to happen all over again. That's super, super cool. So here is the actual oak tree life cycle. So this is kind of what the book was kind of walking us through. So first we need to have an acorn. And we know that acorns come from adult trees, just like any fruit or any seed comes from an adult tree. So once that acorn falls and maybe a little squirrel comes around and buries it, then we can see let me move myself just a little bit so we can see this. So then we see the actual roots grow down into the ground, and then it kind of shoots up, a shoot kind of grows, and then it becomes a seedling. And after the seedling, and the roots and the stem and the leaves are doing their jobs, we get a young plant after 20 years. So crazy. And then we see those flowers start to grow. And then we need that pollen from the male flower to reach the female flower to get those acorns, and those are going to be on adult plants on the adult oak tree. So and then in the fall time those acorns are going to fall again just like in step one, and it's going to start all over again. That's why it's called a cycle, because it happens over and over and over again. That is so cool. And the coolest thing about this is that this life cycle is actually the same for so many other plants. We're going to take a look at an apple life cycle, and we're going to see the steps are very, very similar. But this book sure taught us so much about plants. Let's go ahead and review everything we've learned. Okay, let's jump out of this book. You ready? Okay, so before we review everything we've learned, let's go ahead and do some exercises. Are you ready? So the first thing I want you to do is, since we've been talking so much about seeds and different plants, let's go ahead and act like we're a seed. Are you ready? So I'm gonna back up so you can see me. So first I want you to do is kind of like go down like a seed. And then pretend like you're growing. So you're gonna grow taller and taller. Sit just like that for a second. Spread your arms up like your little roots. And then grow taller and taller. Now go ahead and pretend like your arms are leaves. You're getting the sun. And then taller on your tippy toes. And taller. And even taller. Oh my goodness. Now pretend like you are an apple now, about to fall off of a grown-up tree. Are you ready? And ooh, pretend like you're another apple falling off of a tree. Ready? And bloop. And you're another apple. You ready? Pretend you're an apple falling off of a tree. And bloop. Oh my goodness. Whew. That kind of gave my legs a little workout. Wasn't that fun? Go ahead and just stretch. Go sideways. Go the other sideways. Whew, that was kind of fun being a tree, wasn't it? Goodness, we learned so much information today. So let's go ahead and review really quick what we learned. So what I have here is a quick picture of a plant and all the different parts. So in the book, we learned that we have roots, we have the stem, and we also have leaves. All plants have these three parts. And they are very important for different reasons. They have really important jobs that they have to do, and if they don't do that job, then the plant won't be able to survive. So with the roots, their really important job is to collect the water that the soil is actually collecting. So when we water our plants or when it rains outside, the water hits and goes into the soil, and the roots' job is to make sure to collect that and kind of drink it up like a straw. And then actually what really acts like a straw is the stem here. So once these roots collect all of the water, then the stem acts like a straw and kind of slurps it up, and it kind of travels to the very tippity top of the plant. So we need that stem so that the water doesn't stay in the roots. We don't want the water to stay in the roots. We want to make sure that the whole plant gets it. Imagine drinking water and then it just kind of staying in your throat. Wouldn't that be kind of weird? You want it to go all the way down into your belly. So that's why we have that stem. And the last part are these leaves here. And it's really important because kind of like what we talked about, they kind of like sunbathe. They like kind of hanging out in the sun. And that sunlight actually hits those leaves and it gives them special food and energy in order to continue to grow bigger and bigger. So it needs roots, stems, and leaves. And in order to grow, they need to also be able to collect that water and get that sunlight. Okay, so those three parts of a plant work together to get what they need, and they really need to make sure to have water and sunlight. So you notice here in my plant, I have a little strawberry right here with some more seeds, but right here I have a flower. So what we also need to know and understand is that every plant is going to have a flower, and from that flower comes the fruit. So I know that whenever I showed you that plate of all those fruits and vegetables, we actually consider all of those foods fruits because it comes from a flowering plant. Now, whenever, if you talk to a chef or a cook, they might say, well, this is a vegetable, this is a fruit. But in real life, actually, they're all considered fruits because they come from flowering plants. We just use the word vegetables whenever we talk in cooking terms. So this is actually a quick life cycle of an apple. We talked about the life cycle of an acorn, and it's very similar. You see, first you have to plant that apple seed, and then the roots grow to collect that water, and then the stem comes to travel to send that water up, and then you see the leaves. And then after that, after a little while, it will become like a seedling and then a young plant, and then you'll see a giant tree. So here's a giant apple tree. And once that giant apple tree grows, then you're actually going to get to see some flowers. So you might wonder, why does that apple tree have flowers? Well, those flowers are really important because it has pollen and it has different parts to it that will allow the apple to grow. So it's really important for those trees to have flowers first. And then after a while, the petals are going to start wilting and then kind of falling off. And the inside, or that middle part, is actually going to grow into an apple in its place. So without those flowers, you're not going to get those delicious apples. So that's why you see lots of flowers on trees or different plants before you actually see the fruits come out of it. Oh my goodness, so much we have learned. So really quick, here it is. We learned that seeds come from fruit. We learned that fruit comes from adult plants. We do not see fruits come from baby or young plants just yet. We have to wait for them to be grown up. Plants need light and water. Roots take in the water. Stems bring water up to the plant. Leaves take in the sunlight. And lastly, flowers form the fruit of a plant which contain the seeds for a new plant. Oh my goodness, so much. I hope you were able to jot these things down and take these notes. And I hope you can take a look at maybe some plants around your neighborhood or maybe at your house and study them. See the different parts that they have and their different jobs. Or maybe take a look at trees that maybe in the springtime will start to have flowers. And think, I wonder what those flowers are going to turn into. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and you learned lots. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Teaching in Room 9 is made possible with support of Bank of America, Dana Brown Charitable Trust, Emerson, and viewers like you.